recording on?
Recording in progress.
Okay, I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Board of Health. Give me a moment to put on my glasses. This is a hybrid meeting. The Zoom chat will not be monitored. Participants who want to speak must raise their hand icon until the chair asks them to unmute. Note that this meeting is being televised and recorded by Bourne Community TV for a replay. If anyone in the audience is also recording or videotaping, they need to acknowledge such at this time. All items within the meeting agenda are subject to deliberation and votes by the Board of Health. I don't see any of the hundreds of people that are here that are raising their hands, so I'm assuming that nobody in our audience is recording. Okay, well, what do you had to check? Okay, if anyone, okay, there's information on the website for accessing the Zoom. Is anybody tuned into our Zoom?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Are they intending to participate?
One of our applicants is here, yes.
Okay. All right, so attendance. I see Dusty.
Present.
I see Dawn. I see Bobby.
Yeah.
I see Barbara, and I see me. Okay, the first item on the agenda is the, let's see, 405 Circuit Avenue, Michael Pimentel, EIT, CSE of JC Engineering, on behalf of the owner, Brent T. Warren, trustee, requesting waiver from Board of Health regulations for the continued use of existing septic systems to accommodate renovations to a 3-bedroom dwelling. Is he here?
I am. Can you folks hear me okay?
Oh, yeah, loud and clear.
Excellent. I can either share my screen or I can just talk you through with the board. It's up to you.
Well, we have the plans, plot plans and stuff here. Does anybody of the board want him to do anything on the screen? Okay, I think we can follow, in my
In
opinion.
case there's some people on Zoom that might want to follow along as well.
Are there people on Zoom?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so is that going to be difficult for you to do? Mr. Pimentel?
I just need to be able to share my screen. I need authorization from you folks to do that.
Are you having success in doing that? I don't see anything changing.
I believe someone from the meeting would have to allow me to share my screen. I can't just unilaterally do it. I need a permission from you folks to do that.
They're working on that.
Okay. If not, I can just talk you through and see if that works.
Give it a try now, Mike.
What's that?
Give it a try now.
Okay. Are you using the mic desktop?
We're using, would you like the Mike desktop version?
Yeah, the mic desktop is the one that I'm able to share my screen. The
See if that works.
There we are. Okay,
Once you get that.
yes, we can.
All right, perfect. So yeah, for the record, my name is Mike Pimentel. I'm with JC Engineering. And basically, we're in front of you folks because the homeowner at 405 Circuit Avenue is doing interior renovations to her home. She currently has a septic system that's located in the back of the property. Here is the septic tank, and this rectangular box is her leaching facility. This septic system was approved by the Board of Health back in 2011 with variances. Variances from the leaching system to the property line, to the garage, to the northern property line, and also the setback from the leaching facility over to the coastal bank. So that was back in 2011. Fast forward to today, the homeowner wishes to make renovations to her home, which includes this enclosed porch here. She's going to lop off a small section of this porch, 1 by 8 foot section of the porch. She plans on adding dormers to her house, and there's a cathedral first floor in the back here that she's going to now make it 2 floors, which would include her adding a bedroom to that second floor, but reconfiguring the other bedroom so that the total net number of bedrooms for the house still remains 3. Because it's currently a 3-bedroom home. After the renovations are made, it'll still be a 3-bedroom home. Homeowner is not proposing to do any type of lateral additions to the house. Everything is going to stay within the confines of the perimeter of the home. So we understand that we have to go in front of the Board of Health to seek permission to allow us to continue to use the existing septic system here in the back, because back in 2011, there were variances that were being requested to allow us to put this septic system. I do want to note that the leaching system at its closest point from the corner here to the coastal bank is 116 feet. This is the approved plan right here. 116 feet away from the coastal bank, and it was approximately 142 feet away from the mean high water that it was just off the page over here. The total increase of basically gross floor area was about 11%. It was about 152 square feet. And the reason why is because of what I mentioned before. There's a cathedral first floor here that is now going to be 2 floors. And so now the additional square footage is about 152 square feet, which is approximately 11%. Essentially, the homeowner wants to just move forward with her renovations. She wants to get approval from the Board of Health. We have already went to the Conservation Commission last week to seek approval for the work that included the removal of a section of the porch here. We're also proposing sonotubes underneath the enclosed porch, which was approved by the Conservation Commission. So we're going through 3 steps of permitting, 1 being conservation, 2 being the Board of Health, and 3 would be the Zoning Board of Appeals, which we have a meeting with them on April 3rd. So at this point, we're seeking approval from the Board of Health to allow us to continue to use the existing septic system that's currently on the property. And with that, I would take any questions.
Yeah, I see here, you reduced the bedroom square footage down to 377 square feet from 427, and you must have increased the living area. In other words, living room, et cetera, et cetera. So quite obvious you're reducing the size of the bedrooms, which is good, be guaranteed.
Yeah, we are reducing the size of the bedrooms, which is kind of ironic.
Yeah.
But we are increasing the size of the master bathroom, and we're also adding additional hallway space. And that's the reason why you see the existing square footage of 924 up to 1125. So when you average the increase, the decrease of the bedrooms, and you add the increase of the non-bedroom space, that's where we got the total of 11.2% total increase.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Anybody else?
I just have a quick question. So D1, like your thing D1 is what it looks like now, and then the A1 is, to Dusty's point, where you're decreasing the bedroom size because you're adding a master bath effectively to the master bedroom, and that's where you're putting these dormers? The
Yeah,
dormer?
and also we're increasing the amount of hallway space as well.
Okay,
There's a set of stairs inside the home that's pretty bad. They're kind of unsafe. They're very steep. There's not a lot of headroom to get to the second floor, so
Yeah.
we're expanding that so that we can get safer access to the second floor.
okay, and does this have a basement?
No, it's a crawl space.
Okay, and then my last question is just on the existing garage. Can you just talk about that a little bit? Is that just like a one level? Is it, what's the
Yeah,
existing garage?
Yeah, it's just a one-level garage. I don't even know if they use it that much. They might use it for storage.
Okay.
As you can see, my gravel driveway essentially ends at the back of the existing home right now. So I don't think they use that garage, to be honest with you. I think they use it for storage. But, yeah, could they use it for a garage and remove all the, storage inside it? Yes, they could. But there are no bedrooms inside, and there are no facilities in that garage. It's just a structure with a slab that can be used for putting your car in there or for storage.
Okay. I don't have any other questions. I don't have any other questions.
No. Okay, I just, was that shower a part of the approved plan before?
Yeah,
Is that an outdoor shower?
Yeah, that outdoor shower, let's go back to, this area right here.
Yeah,
You see this area right here?
yeah,
This was the shower.
yeah.
It's just shown in green back then, and today we just highlight it more by showing it here.
So-
With X's, it's just a fenced-in shower, rinse station.
Oh, and
Where does the water go for that?
ground. It's an outdoor shower.
Oh,
Yeah, it's an outdoor
it just,
shower.
it just goes to ground?
Yeah, you don't have one?
Yeah,
No, I have one at my old house and one at the house I'm living at, yeah.
When you come out of the salt water, you rinse off.
Exactly right. Okay, thank you. That was the only question I had. All right, the board has no further questions? Okay, well, with that, would anybody care to make a motion to approve? Trustee?
I'll make a motion to approve 405 Circuit Ave, Michael Pintel, EIT CSE of JC Engineering on behalf of owner Brent T. Warren, trustee, requesting waiver from the Board of Health for regulations for the continued use of the existing septic system to accommodate renovations to a 3-bedroom dwelling.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, is there further discussion? Hearing none, we'll go to a vote. All those in favor, by roll
Aye.
call?
Aye.
Dustin?
Aye.
Don?
Aye.
Yes, I.
Myself, okay, thank you. Okay, the next item, next item on the agenda is the discussion on Board of Health variance package on the requirement checklist. I think you all got that, that Caitlin was kind enough to send out to us. Now, just to start the discussion, is it my understanding that you will make sure that this checklist is what is followed before anything is submitted to the board for examination?
Yes, so this is what is required of all applications, and this is kind of what we go through when we take in any submissions for the board. Barbara has given me a couple updates that she would like to see, and I can recite those off if you guys would like.
Okay, and what are those?
Yep, so on the nitrogen loading calculation worksheet, she would like for that to be, just a regular protocol for the Board of Health that, on the second page, if they are above a certain level, that it then says you will need to install nitrogen removing technology, that's something that the board requires.
Mm-hmm.
And that could be something that we have for protocol, that's 100% fine. And then that, a butter notification is usually one of the things that people are confused about, because in Title V, it stipulates only property line variances require a butter notification, but she thinks that it might be appropriate to just have a butter notification for all variant submissions. And if that's something the board would like to see, I can for sure make that part of the checklist.
Those two?
Yeah, just because then it gives the neighbors a chance to, if they have any comments, just at least know that something's happening. And then the other thing too that I would like to suggest that we do is, because there was mixed signals at one of our meetings on what the board feels is the definition of upland, that we actually clarify to people what upland is. I don't know if we have to have
I believe the Cape Cod Commission has a definition of what upland is.
They actually do not.
They do not?
So
Used to.
we have in video, which I'm happy to share with people, that was shared, that something that we have been using as upland.
Mhm.
And for consistency, it's everything above the floodplain, and that was shared with the select board at a meeting as well. So I don't know what we need to do, because basically, one of our applicants before used the entire lot as upland, because they said it, participate to the recharge, your entire lot is recharge, but that's not what we as a board have been doing in past practice. We've been doing things above the floodplain. So I feel like that's the other thing where the health department gets pushback from applicants, like they're not really filling this out the way that they should. So I don't know how to address that. So I'm asking for.
Okay, so there are 3 items that you want to add. Okay, and the last one was as a definition of upland. And let's see, do you have some thoughts as to where we could find a definition of that is legitimate and something that is sustainable?
So we can definitely, have a meeting with a member of the Cape Cod Commission who worked on that document for us and have them maybe present at a meeting and go over like a workshop about the definition that we feel comfortable using.
Yeah, I think that perhaps you could do that directly
Yeah.
without it coming
Without a
before the
before meeting,
board.
just discussing with them.
Because what we're looking for is a sustainable, and that's my understanding,
Yeah.
a sustainable definition of what upland is. And I think that if you were to have that conversation with them, and then at a subsequent meeting,
Present
make
that
us
to you.
aware of it,
Mhm.
that would be, I think that, don't you think that would handle, rather than having somebody come out from the?
Yeah, and I actually talked to him too, so
Yep.
maybe you, myself, and he, we
Yeah,
can
I
have like a
can,
group
yeah, I
call.
can
And
schedule
then I
something.
do know that there is a definition that the Conservation Commission
Mhm.
uses, which I can share with you too before that. So why
Yeah.
don't we just set up like a group call?
Yes.
This meeting is being recorded.
Huh?
Okay. Well, I'll set up, why don't we set up a call that's when it's convenient for you?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then, I have his contact info too, I can give you.
Okay.
Okay. Does everybody understand what Barbara's getting at?
Not really,
Okay,
because it's
okay,
very
on-
hard.
It's on upland and a definition of it, so that everybody is clear that there's one, for our purpose, there's a definition of what upland is.
Correct.
And by going to the Conservation Commission and the Cape Cod Commission, we would get some sustainable definition of what that is. And then when people came and were claiming to have upland, we'd have something to refer to.
Can we get, once that is established, can they give us a copy that we can have to study? In other words, whatever
Oh,
they.
yeah.
That would be the point.
Yeah.
Because since that wasn't included in this checklist, I would expect it would come back, after,
It could be
after
something
you've
that I
after
read
you've
off
done
at a
that.
meeting as well.
Yeah,
That's fine.
so we could add that I add that on as, let's say, an additional
Item.
agenda item. Okay. Now, what was the other two?
Just that, the abutter notification, just making that required for all variance requests. And then a protocol for the Board of Health, to just follow that nitrogen loading calculation step by step. And if your results answer that you need a nitrogen loading
Oh, it's here.
reduction, to
Yeah.
just go with that. I do want to emphasize too, though, that we make sure that those calculation worksheets are there, but I mean, I can't guarantee that they filled it out correctly until the board meeting, because, Stacy and Dion are not necessarily trained in that, but,
Yeah, that makes,
I
yeah,
think
that
at this
makes
point,
sense.
what we're looking for is some evidence that there was an attempt to
To
fill
do
it
so,
out.
yes.
And I think it's up to us to make a judgment as to whether or not
Based
it was
off of
filled
that.
out correctly.
yes.
Yeah.
Although, in terms of your evaluation, my presumption is that you'd look at it and say, hey,
If I get to the review before a board meeting, I would let you all know as well, so, yeah.
do you all get that?
Yeah.
Okay. And what was the third thing you wanted, Barbara?
I think it was just those, like, and one of, the other one where people actually don't follow consistently, I think, is where it says groundwater quality, does the project, exceed the greater of 5 ppm? If yes, they need to
Oh,
provide
yeah.
alternative strategies. A lot of people just ignore that. So, that's just one thing I think that they'll kind
Yeah.
of start looking for, and if they don't.
Okay,
then
so
don't accept it.
that's already
That's already listed on
That's
there.
already there, but it's
You're
just-
But yeah,
already there,
some people
okay.
don't always,
All right.
But just to
But,
put it in here as the checklist, so
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
that way people have no excuse for
Okay.
not. doing
And
it?
then, because we're gonna schedule this call with the commission, I have it tentatively scheduled that we're gonna go over like a workshop of that document next meeting. Do you wanna hold off until after we chat with them?
Yeah, that probably makes sense.
Okay,
I don't
yeah.
know what his schedule is.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. All right.
Okay, so you'll come back to us with a definite prospective date
Yeah.
of us reviewing it and completing it. But so far, thank you very much for doing this.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
It's something that's very important to us. You folks have any questions on this?
No, it's very helpful. Anything that can help us with clarification or with definitions and that sort of thing.
You might get into this in your report, but I appreciated the notice on that orientation.
The MHAB
Yeah,
conference.
the closest one is in Taunton, I think.
Yes.
On April 27th. If any of you have the, it's $100, right?
It is, and we potentially have the ability to use funds that I did receive from the PHE grant, to do so.
Yeah, the shared services.
Yeah, so if you guys want to, let me know, and I'll just fill out your form for you and then get a check cut for that.
I would encourage the members of the board to do this,
Yeah.
okay?
April 27th.
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
I would exclude myself at this point since I'm not running, for reelection. But one of the things that, that we desperately need, I think, and all volunteer boards need, is somebody to guide us through best practice for all boards. And from what I read, when I read the précis on what they were offering, that seemed to do exactly that. So I thought that would be very worthwhile, and I would recommend it, to you, Dusty, to you, Bobby, and to you, Barbara, that you take advantage of this if you have the time.
Yeah, count me in.
Yeah, it's
I'll
the
go.
thing, when is
Yeah.
the dates?
It's April 27th.
April 27th.
Is in
Taunton.
Taunton. April 20th is in Marlboro, and then there's one other.
Taunton is the
that's-
closest
Yeah.
one, and it's on the 27th. It's 9 to 4,
I think so, yes.
okay, and they'll feed you lunch.
I don't care about that, but one of those dates, I'll be underneath the
So
night.
Bobby, are you planning on going?
I can go on the 27th. I'll be away on the
Okay.
20th, yeah.
So you guys are both looking at the 27th?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we
Okay,
can just go
great.
together.
And Dusty, I can call you to confirm as well.
Would be very, very helpful, and I'm glad that you can sign up for it. Okay, and that was sort of out of order, but let's see, sorry about that. Right, we got the checklist through, and then we're gonna have we'll finish up on that. Okay, with regard to future agenda items, is there anything on future agenda items that you're interested in?
Can I
Yes, Dusty.
interject one thing? Yesterday morning, 10 o'clock, I was up to DPW that the recycling committee met, and I wanted to go just to hear what it was about. Thereafter, the Board of Health to have, when they inspect the food servicing and all this and that they check the plastic bags, if they're using plastic bags on takeout. Because town of Bourne, there's a rule against that, using plastic. And they're finding that they're getting a lot from takeout people, things of that nature. And I brought up a few questions to them in regards to plastic. I'm very confused. Plastic and styrofoam. You get your meats, your hamburger, your roasts and that. What's underneath? There's a piece of styrofoam and they're wrapped in a light plastic. How many different things, when you think about, that you buy in a market that defeat all our recycling efforts as far as plastic?
Dusty, an excellent point, because we pack plastic packaged device in a paper bag because we don't allow plastic bags. And it seems to me that we're not really addressing them, not really addressing the issue at all. But as far as plastic goes, plastic is basically made out of a petroleum distillate.
Correct.
Okay, and as such, it could lend itself to recycling regardless of what it was by itself. So what was their specific solution other than eliminating it?
Well, no, but what they were trying to bring to light is a number 6 plastic, which is a heavier plastic. I fully understand.
That's the kind, they kind of use for milk bottles, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
And that, now if you notice the new plastic water bottles, you unscrew the cap and you're holding the bottle, and when the cap comes off, the water goes up because they thinned the plastic in the bottle. That is not grindable, break down into pellets, into smaller areas. It gums the machine up. The wrapping on the meats that is thin, that gums up the machine. All that stuff cannot go through the grinder to chipper or whatever you want to call it to make it into pellets. So
I thought that a lot of towns on the Cape were getting rid of all plastic bottles or denying it. I remember at least 20 years ago, they were having people come to trade shows, to talk down the use of any kind of plastic, plastic bottles, and they were promoting the use of permanent water bottles.
But that's where we come into effect. Is it sterilized every time it's used, that reusable, reusable?
Not only isn't it not sterilized, it also, the plastic in that lighter material leaches into the water. And they have, in some cases, they have a warning on it that says, don't use it more than once. Did they talk about that?
No, they do not.
Because that's, that would be the issue for us. And I don't know how we would approach this, but it's a very serious problem, especially when people are using that water bottle over and over and over again, and the material in it is leaching into the water. And I had gotten a complaint from somebody about the water quality. I think that's something we're supposed to be monitoring with the water department, right?
What water quality?
They were talking about finding heavy metals in the water, and the fact that some people are reporting, they use the Brita, was it the filter, the
Brita filters.
Brita filters, that they were jamming up in less than the, period of time that they were identified as. And they also pointed out that there was some evidence of cadmium in the water.
I haven't received any reports from the water district regarding any outliers.
Okay, well, cadmium rings a bell with me because I had worked for a company that made photo controls for streetlights, and what they use for the mechanical switching is a cadmium sulfide coated, device in the photo control that it fails on. So if you see a street light that's on, it's because the photo control, has failed. But the cadmium dust is a heavy metal,
Yep.
and it begins to accumulate. So it is since a consumer expressed a concern, I'm passing it on, is part of the meeting. And perhaps you could find out about, what exactly the water department is doing, and what is our piece, in this as far as guarantee the safety of the water. Okay.
One other thing, Bill?
Yeah.
Why at that meeting, they brought up one subject which I found very interesting. There's a company who has designed a plastic bag that is biodegradable, and they're trying to introduce it. If that can come about and accepted, that would end some of the problems, a major part, because you go to Walmart or something like that, and then you bring them home and you use them to line your trash barrel and everything like that, and then we tie it off, throw it in the big blue bin, and off it goes to the dump. So,
Excuse me, the Integrated Solid Waste Facility.
like I said, the dump.
Listen,
I'm
Phil
born and
Phil
raised here.
Phil Goddard's probably gonna call me, and remind me about that.
That's all right, Dan can call me. But they also want to arrange a meeting with us to go over certain items. And I
That's a good
said,
idea.
contact you.
And okay, why don't you confirm that with Dan?
With
Not
The
with Dan,
recycling
it will
committee?
go through Phil Goddard.
Oh, Phil,
Okay.
okay, yeah.
Yeah, Phil.
Yeah. Yeah, I've worked with Phil over the years, and he's very knowledgeable, and and then we'll get a lot out of it. I think all of us know Phil, right?
I know, yeah.
So, yeah, put that on the agenda for something that's convenient for us.
Yeah.
Is there anything else from that meeting?
No, but I found it very interesting.
There's supposed to be a meeting of the wastewater advisory committee coming up. I think that's next, is that tomorrow?
I was told it was supposed to be this week. I haven't seen anything posted yet. But I will.
They haven't posted it?
When I checked yesterday, there was nothing, so,
Well, if it hadn't been posted, it wouldn't be tomorrow then.
no, it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have not seen anything posted on the website.
Okay, and I got an email on it, and I was planning to go, but if it
Oh.
hasn't been posted, that, it's obviously they can't have it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you very much for this. I think this is what we were looking for, which is the priority of effort identification for what to start looking at as far as scheduling our, looking at the items that we should put first versus the items that would have a lesser priority. Have you all had a chance to take a look at at this?
No, we got it tonight.
Okay, I guess we just got it tonight, but this is basically what we're, what I was asking for. I
Yeah.
really appreciate you doing that. You have this? Okay.
And I can go over a little background on them if you'd like me to.
Yeah, well, yeah, at least get us started.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the body works regulation, low priority, but, the first draft of these came out right when the state kind of made model regulations. I just kind of want to fine tune them so that way they aren't interpreted in any different way. I found that, when I first started working here, that some people who were licensed through us didn't need to be because they're state licensed. And maybe we were missing out on certain people. So as new businesses have come in, we've figured it out, but I just want to make sure that that's not interpreted in any other way, that state licensed massage therapists are exempt from body works regulations from us. Anyone who's not licensed by the state and subject to their inspections would then need to be licensed by us. So,
I think we had a case where somebody came in who was not licensed and went and got, and did get a license
yeah.
before we would hear him
Yes.
as a representative.
So I just want to make sure that, those are fine-tuned and easy to read and interpret by everyone. And again, that can be something that we work on, not important right now, but just in general.
Okay, well, it looks like the ones you've identified as being, let's see, for the next 4 months, that, in my opinion, that would be the one that would get our primary attention. So perhaps we should consider starting a schedule of, what would we call them, workshops or just discussions?
So I could formulate a draft of these particular ones that I think we would like to see, and then we could start advertising those in the newspaper, because their regulation changes, so they would all have to be advertised. So yeah, the first one would be like a workshop, so you guys can put in your opinions and I can change stuff to your liking, and then we kind of just go from there.
Okay, so I'm all for starting this as soon as we can.
Sure.
Okay, because it's, it's something that, we're trying to be organized so that we're helpful, to folks. So, Barbara, do you have any opinion on that?
No, I think that's a great idea. I think
Okay,
this is
so-
fabulous. I have
Yeah.
one question, though, just
Yeah.
about the swimming pool fence
Yes.
regulation, only because, there's a lot of drownings and things like that.
Yes.
You have this medium. And then it says, come into compliance with state building code. Have they changed that now to 6 feet? Because it was 4 feet.
So it is still 4 feet.
But they were thinking of changing it to 6 feet. I
So
didn't know.
the building code itself has changed drastically since our regulation went into effect, I believe, in the 80s. So the building code no longer requires fencing
What?
because of because of these safety regulated automatic covers. So we do have a lot of pushback from people because the state doesn't require fencing if you put these types of covers in. And it's up to the board to figure out what we want to do, but we can definitely revise it. So one, all the code citations are all up to date. The building code is going to have another change in December, so I figured we could start looking at it and then make sure everything is matching up in the beginning of next year.
All right, so, okay, so you're gonna the one you suggested, you'll schedule as soon as possible.
Yep,
And
I
then
think I
after we
have some
finish that, we'll
drafts,
get to
yeah.
the next one, and then the next one, and then the next one. Great, great, thank you so much for this.
No problem.
This is great.
Yeah.
Anybody have any other comments on this?
No, I think that's awesome.
Okay, great. All right, so we made some progress on that, and now let's see, now the acting health agent report.
All right, so I'm gonna give you guys a little rundown of how building permits work internally with us. Was a question you guys had at the last
Yeah,
meeting.
that was a question you had, Barbara.
Yeah.
So, let's see. All right, so building permits. So these tend to come into us either simultaneously as if a ZBA appeal is needed, or after that process. So sometimes people have already talked to me about their project, sometimes it's the first time. Building projects that I'm responsible for signing off on include changes to the dwelling, any sheds that are being added to the property. I don't participate in any like siding, roofing, those types of things.
Go back to the sheds.
Mm-hmm.
If a shed is a storage area without any facilities in it, why would the Board of Health get involved in that?
So depending on location, so setbacks to septic systems, so if there's a slab foundation, it needs to be 10 feet away from all septic components. If there's no slab, but it's right on top of a component, it's gonna impact venting and all that kind of stuff. So we just like to make sure that they're outside of our setback
thank you.
regulations. Yeah, absolutely. And then the other one is swimming pools, so any swimming pool permits that come through for private dwellings or public dwellings. All right, so this is what internally it looks like on the your side. So the right side is how the applicant fills out their information, and on the left is the internal regulation. So an application comes in, they pay for it. Ken Murphy, the building inspector, will do an original review of it, make sure that they have the required documents for a building permit, and then release it to the internal regulatory agencies for their review. And then,
Is this also true for the E-permits?
yep, so this is the E-permit, yep. These are all the E-permits. All building permits are now done electronically, so plumbing, electrical, all those as well. And then they attach all of their attachments here, so a site plan is always required, floor plans that show proposed versus existing, and then other requirements that the building department needs, but those are typically what we look for. And then, so these are all of our, our steps, and as needed, so there's an initial step for the Board of Health, so we look over it, and I will look at what we have on file for their septic systems, anything like that, and if they're completely in compliance and nothing they're proposing matters, like they're adding a back deck, it doesn't cover the septic system, it's far away, easy, it can approve that. If they're adding habitable space, but it's not bedroom space, and their septic system is Title V compliant, I may ask for a Title V inspection to verify that even though we're not increasing bedroom space, we're increasing habitable space, that the system can handle additional possible flow. And
Does
then,
everybody agree that that's a useful thing to do?
Yeah.
so from there, so say they're not in full compliance with us. They need to come before the board for like 405 circuit today. They had to come back before a waiver because they were adding something to a system that wasn't fully compliant with Title V and Board of Health regulations. I will make a comment and call that applicant and let them know that this is, might be a holdup. We're gonna have to go through this process. And once we touch base on that, I can approve my step contingent upon septic system. All those components are settled and all good before occupancy is granted by the building department. Ken has 30 days to issue a permit, so if there's no issue on his end, he can't hold that back on our end, but he will add that secondary step that occupancy cannot be granted until septic system is in full compliance. So
Is
that's,
that enough, you think, Barbara?
Probably not, because I think.
What do you,
Once
well,
people get a-
this
once
is the
people get
point
a
where
permit-
where you,
Once people get a permit, there's nothing you can do about it. I mean, I don't know any time that we've ever had anybody not stay at their place, even though they haven't upgraded their septic system.
So if they don't get the occupancy, through Ken,
But an occupancy is only required when they're doing certain renovations. They already have the right to stay there if they've already, so occupancy you only need if you're doing certain
so
types of renovations.
in this case, that would be, yes, so say it's a full addition or a full, so an in-law apartment, anything like that. Those type of things require occupancy. Anything else, I like to see the actual I won't approve the step until they have the application that I need on file with us.
Yeah.
And then that gives us a time frame, and also, so say it was a failed Title V report. They needed to do a Title V report for me, but it failed.
Yeah.
Now that's submitted to my office, and legally they have 2 years for that to be complete, otherwise they're in non-compliance. Where I have a pretty good working relationship with the building department too, is that they will not do their final inspection, that like basically, so builders aren't getting paid because they don't get paid till they get that occupancy, all these things, so there is potential lawsuits in the works and all those types of things. Anything in particular that you're thinking of that without occupancy, like the occupancy wouldn't be an issue?
Yeah, I guess I'm thinking if we had done that work on that new regulation, which is the additions, improvements,
Yep.
alterations, that we specifically in that didn't give the health department authority to approve that. It has to come before the Board of Health, because what we were trying to do is somehow get people before us so we could actually see what their septic systems were to potentially get people to upgrade sooner. So I guess that's the only, like, I guess, it's maybe working.
So
I don't
yes,
know. It may be
I would
working,
say that it
but-
is, based off of that regulation, which
Yeah.
is basically how I run through these building permits is.
Okay.
I look at it, they're changing something in their house, they're adding something in their house.
Yeah.
What does their system look like? Is it Title V compliant completely? Is
Yeah.
it Board of Health compliant? Does it meet all of our regulations?
Yeah.
If it does not meet that regulation, and therefore would need a Board of Health.
Okay, so that
Yes.
doesn't get pushed forward
No,
in the cycle?
they have to go before
Okay.
the Board of Health, and I would need to see that submission packet and a date before I approve the building permit.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yes.
okay, that explains it.
okay,
Yeah.
that seems to make sense, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah, and then this is just how we comment things,
Yeah.
so I
Anything
believe
else
this
on
was
that?
like a bathroom renovation,
Okay.
and, yeah.
Well, okay. Related to your report, we're expecting a visit from the state regulatory authority at our next meeting.
Yes, we have confirmed the well regulation updates. I have not heard back from anyone regarding Title V. I will leave another phone message, but they
Okay.
have not responded to my emails, so.
Great, but the most important thing is to get the well regulation, put to bed.
Squared away.
Okay, but, and it would be nice to have the other, but don't let,
Yes.
don't let perfect get in the way of good, right?
Yes.
Okay. And, all right, so, great, we got that confirmed, and I'm looking forward to that, because that would mean that we'd get something that would really help to guarantee the safety of people that are here. I'm really interested in listening to what they have to say about the connectivity between the public water supply and the, let's say the private well systems that are in that vicinity, because that could be, a serious matter.
Correct.
And they're in a position to make us aware of that, as a Board of Health. So we'll talk about that when they show up next time. Okay, public, is there anything else you have for us?
I do not have anything, no.
Okay. Public comment on non-agenda items? Nobody's raising their hand, so I guess that would,
Hold on.
We do have one.
This woman's got her hand up.
okay.
Mary Frances?
All right, I recognize you, Mrs. Galligan. Did you hear us?
She frozen again. I think she was having connectivity issues.
while we're waiting for her, I would like to say Caitlin and Stacy, good job. I mean, like, pulling all this stuff together was a lot of work.
Oh,
so
yeah,
Thank you.
No
absolutely.
problem, yeah.
Well? No, that isn't her. I thought I shut this off. Is, Can you hear us? If you can hear us, put your picture on and wave your hand or something.
You should just put something in the chat. Might have been her.
What'd she say?
Can the public comment on the checklist?
There she is.
Okay.
All right, we can see you.
But we can't hear
Unmute,
you.
unmute yourself.
Is she muted?
You have to unmute yourself.
Her audio might not be working.
Okay. Can you hear, can you,
Yeah, she can hear us.
you can hear us, okay.
We can't hear
Um,
you.
All I can do is ask her to unmute,
No.
but it says she's
We're still not hearing you.
says she's not muted.
Can she dial in?
I think she's trying to.
Yeah.
Call Bill's phone number. Call Bill. Call his cell.
So finicky up. I just lost my ability to, when I was out in the parking lot, I
Her
was on
phone's
this
there
Zoom meeting.
too.
Lost
We're not, Mrs. Gallagher, we're not hearing you. You're still muted.
It says
She's
it
not
actually
muted,
says
it's
she's
just
not
the
muted.
audio's
What?
not working.
Her audio's
Well, the
not.
good news is we will have, can she hear us?
Do you have a cell phone there?
Because we will
Can
be
you-
coming
can-
back to the,
Can she reach you?
She could call in physically with the phone number.
Yeah,
that's
there's a
provided.
phone number. Call in on the phone number.
and we will be going over the checklist again, so
Yes.
she'll have an opportunity to participate then.
Yes, we can definitely, yeah.
Did you hear, oh, she must have heard that.
Okay.
Can any of you,
I'm typing the call-in information to her, if she'd like to try that.
if you're still trying to reach us, raise your hand.
No, she's.
Oh, there she is. Oh, she's on the phone now.
All right, once I see her pop up, I'll. I think-
I don't, I think,
Working.
Sometimes if you log out and then come,
yeah.
rejoin the meeting, that's helpful.
Can she type her question?
Yeah, I was gonna say that too.
I don't know how that works for.
Can she
The meeting chat
put something in the chat?
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm?
That's what I meant, yeah, type it in or something.
Yeah. There is a chat link on the, on that too, right? Okay, tell her to type it in on the chat. At least we can know what, what exactly
Sure,
she's
Nancy.
trying to tell us.
Because I guess this would again be public comments, so
It's on something that we're not gonna vote on
Exactly,
or
she-
comment on.
she can make her point right now, yeah.
I'm sorry about that.
Oh.
Hey, hey,
Well,
you-
welcome, welcome. An elephant-like gestation to produce more than a mouse, I hope. Go ahead.
Sorry, I tried to put my question in the chat box, but, and I appreciate your patience very much. I'm wondering if it is possible for the public to comment, just to see the checklist and make comments.
Of course, all the documents that are shown at the meeting go on to the webpage because they are they are an integral part of the meeting. So after the meeting is over, even before the minutes are approved, it would be available on, it would be available there, correct?
Yes,
Yeah.
it will be added to the agenda tab.
Yeah.
I can also.
Does that answer your
It'll be added
question?
After the meeting, and then the public can make comments. That's terrific.
Yes.
Is there a
Thank you.
time frame before it's on there, so she isn't go immediately to it?
I would say tomorrow by 10 a.m.
All right, so you're aware of that wait till afternoon time tomorrow?
Okay, wonderful.
Give yourself
Okay.
extra time.
Anything else? Did you have anything else?
Oh, no, thank you. No,
All right,
but
well,
that
thank you.
document will include Barbara's comments, right? Her requested additions
Yes, I can
Yes.
do that.
about the uplands and, okay,
Yep.
terrific.
Is that it?
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you,
Yes.
thank you for your participation.
Thank you.
Are there any other, I don't see any other hands up, and the audience has been very quiet. Okay, all right, so with
I
that,
entertain a motion to
wait
adjourn.
wait a minute, is there public, no, I'm not gonna say anything, I'll keep my mouth
No,
shut.
we have to schedule the next meeting, don't we, first?
Yes, we do, it's March 27th, March 27th at 5:30 with our next meeting. Look forward to seeing all of you folks here again. Okay, so with that, is there any other motions about to be on the floor?
Nope.
Somebody want to second the first motion?
Oh, that's right, there is a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
Second? Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.